Very good brilliant performance for Manchester United at Old Trafford, dominating against Aston Villa. This was not a surprise because Unai Emery's team has slightly dropped their form of late, and I know the Aston Villa that we were uh, afraid of in the first leg of the Premier League. So United dominated over Aston Villa, and today I want to try and show you guys how we were able to actually prevent Villa from pressing us with the ball, and arguably, I think to be fair, we were able to defend pretty well, but because Villa's goal was a set piece goal, so defensive wise we were good, and with the ball, United were very good. It was so hard for Aston Villa to try and press us with the ball, and I'm going to show you why it was so hard for Aston Villa to press Manchester United with the ball. So here at the formations layout, United with a back four, two midfielders, one number 10, and two wingers, and the number 9 was Mbeumo. The same formation for Aston Villa. They had the same formation. It was a 3-2-3-1. So if from a tactical point of view, you might think it's easy for Villa to try and fight for the ball with the ball, but remember, teams change formation depending on how they want to move with the ball, when they want to attack or when they want to defend or when they want to just maintain the possession. So United's formation with the ball, we're gonna start with the United position on the ball, which is this is the major reason why it was so hard for Aston Villa to press Manchester United. So United moved into a shape like we changed on the ball. United moved into a 3. It was a 3-4, yeah, because we had 3 midfielders. The lot was joining in the midfield, Yellow stretching wide, Maguire being at the center, Luke Shaw coming back. So we had 3 midfielders, the lot acting as a winger who was ready to make the runs for the long ball. So Villa were trying to press with 2 strikers. This was Morgan Rogers and Oli Watkins. So Buendia could not come to Lenny Yoro because he had to keep an eye on Diogo Dalot. Then Amadou Onana and Ross Barkley. Still, Bruno would go to the wing, then Cunha would drop in, Mbeumo would come in. So they were trying to prevent this pass from, these two were particularly concerned with Ahmad and Mbeumo, because if Cunha had stepped in, they will change positions. Maybe this could be Cunha, this could be Mbeumo, but Bruno was going to the wing. So Bruno was acting as a winger on the ball with Manchester United. So it was so hard for Villa to come and press the back 3. That is why Maguire had so much time, especially in the first half. And you could see Maguire just walking with the ball on the pitch, trying to pick a player, maybe trying to pick the long balls. Like we just had some good time with the ball because it was so hard for Villa to try and press, because these two guys cannot press these 3 centre backs. So it was so hard. So Villa had to lay low because they also had to prevent these passes from going to Casemiro and Kobe Mainoo. So from that point, then this was Emilio who then this was John McGinnon Luke Shaw. It was so hard for him also because he also had to keep an eye on Bruno, who was so dangerous, and you don't want to left Bruno with a one-on-one situation with a defender. So it was so hard for some. That is why they had to retreat. Instead of going to press us, they had to retreat and they had to try and maintain the discipline of the ball. So this was Harry Maguire. So it was so hard for Villa to come. So we could just play the passes from Shaw, Maguire, then on a channel opens, which we could see Casemiro trying to make a run to take maybe Buendia or Oli Watkins with him. Then Mainoo would just come in and get those balls. So we had a brilliant game on possession. So defensive ways, Villa were at least in that in the first half. We didn't create so many chances, but we were dangerous and we dominated in the first half. So coming in the second half, I think United tried to play much more risky ball, the counter ball. We had to try and get those chances because we were not coming out the first half. But United saw so many chances in the first half. We could not just get a goal. Seeing how so Aston Villa, when Villa had the ball, this is how Man United defended, because Michael Carrick is defending with a 4-4-2 formation. So the 4-4-2 formation, the lot comes back, then this one is Kobe Mainoo, Casemiro, then Bruno was leading the press with Brand Mbeumo. So this is Cunha, and then this is Amad Diallo. So the reason why we managed to prevent Villa from playing those dangerous balls in between, because Villa were looking for Morgan Rogers. This is their key player when they are with the ball. This is who they want to find, because he can cause a lot of either Morgan Rogers or McGinn. Because only one thing has to wait for those goals. So they don't necessarily wait for Oliver, except if they're going long. So this was Mbeumo and this was Cunha. So the reason why we managed to maintain our discipline in the midfield and prevent this kind of passes is because we were doing a zonal marking system. We were playing with a zonal marking system yesterday. So when the ball was on this side, United would try to press this side and block these options. So the only option you had was to maybe go back to Emilio Martinez, or maybe you can play a long ball. And we saw these long balls in the first half. Those switches, especially from the back from Aston Villa, switches from the back from their number 2 to their number 3. They were really trying to maybe irritate us or maybe tease us to try and come for the ball, but we maintained our discipline. So it was so hard for Villa to try and beat this kind of press because they only had to go back, which was the safest option passes. And if they tried to go long, we would have Maguire stepping in this guy. So it was so hard for Villa to try and dominate. And the zonal marking, we played it on both ends, this side of the pitch. When the ball was on this side, you could see Brian Mbeumo trying to block those kind of passes. Bruno Fernandes there, Amad Diallo there, and then maybe Casemiro, not Casemiro, when Dalot could step in, then Casemiro drop back, then Yoro coming on to Emilio Buendia. So it was so hard for Villa to try and get the ball in the middle of the park and play those dangerous passes. There were instances where they were successful because you cannot be entirely perfect. So there were those 1 or 2 instances, but they were not so dangerous because we still managed to maintain our discipline of the ball. So it was a very good display of tactics yesterday, showing us what Carrick can do with the current squad at Manchester United. But remember, some of the major players who were, I will say, majorly affecting our positive results in the recent matches is most of them. I'm gonna give a lot of credit to Mateus Cunha. He did not get sub yesterday. Cunha did very well because remember, this guy with the ball, you cannot press Cunha so easily. You cannot just press Cunha so easily. If you want to come for the ball, he's ready to take you on. He's physically fit, and I just loved what Cunha did yesterday. And Bruno Fernandes, fantastic. Bruno was fantastic, and Lenioro was a little bit maybe somehow is still learning, but I'm sure with time when players like Sam Martinez come back from injury, Yoro might be an option. Because for me, Yoro was not so good against Aston Villa. He was a little bit clumsy with the ball, just losing possession and maybe trying those long balls most of the time, which they don't particularly lead to any positive results, which is something you should try to work on, the long balls. So it was a good thing that we somehow saw a glimpse of hope from our squad, because Villa are not just a victim. We cannot say, because they've just dropped their performance slightly, so we cannot just say that it's a small team. Aston Villa is fighting for Champions League spot in the Premier League. They are currently at the number 4. Liverpool, who we were maybe expecting to come and take the number 4 spot, also drew the number 4 spot, and that just shows you how poor Ancelot's tactics are at Liverpool. And in the next video, I'm gonna try to show you guys what is really wrong with the Liverpool. And it started I think last season, but people did not notice it because Liverpool were getting the job done. As much as Ancelot was poor tactically, he was getting the job done. So in the next video, I'm going to discuss about Ancelot's poor tactics and why he is not able to take Liverpool to those to take Liverpool back to their elite performance, or maybe get Liverpool back to where they should be, a competitive Premier League club able to compete for the European cups, able to compete for the Premier League title, because they're currently sitting at the number 5. So it was very humiliating today for Liverpool to get a road to the number spot. In the next video, that is what we're going to discuss next. But thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe.